How's it going, everybody? AJ Holmes here today outside of the Negative Supply headquarters. And today we're actually gonna go off-site to do an on-location shooting, developing, and scanning demo with our basic film carrier 120 at center stage. And for today's shooting portion of the demo, I'm using my Pentax 6x7 MLU. And we're gonna decide which film stock to use once we get there and take a few meter readings. I'm running in CVS to buy a gallon of water.
Water for it.
To develop my film. I forgot I don't have enough.
Okay, bye.
Be right back. Oh, okay, I got two, just to be safe.
Nice job.
Thanks. I know. All right, so we've arrived. We're in the Santa Monica Mountains near Newberry Park, California. And I'm about to grab my Pentax 6.7, and I think I've already decided, just based on the light, I'm gonna shoot at least one roll, maybe two rolls of Ilford FP4 Plus. Usually rate that film at ISO 100 and develop it normally. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so Pentax 6.7, Ilford FP4, we're gonna load this up and start walking down a trail here and find a few things to photograph. So I've got my Hoya orange filter here. This is like a medium orange. Filter factor requires 1 1/3 stops of exposure compensation. I'm gonna keep this in my pocket. I might find a couple spots to use this on, and I'll just change the ISO on my light meter accordingly. I'm gonna do a shot here. So I'm switching from my 105 lens to my 45mm f4 wide lens. This is the widest lens they made for the Pentax 6.7. That was not a fisheye. And I really like shooting wide. So I'm just gonna try and get like all of these trees without getting my shadow in it, which might be tricky. Doing another one here. There's ants crawling on this tree. I'm gonna use a macro with a ¡1 extension tube. Woohoo, that is a big ass spider. I'm trying to take a picture of this ant that's running away. Little bastard, little got away. All right, so weird things catch my eye. These ants running down a line in this tree definitely caught my eye a moment ago, and I'm trying to get a photo of at least one of them. All right, we'll see if either of those come out. Using the 135 macro, a #1 extension tube at f8 and a 2/50th.
Are you on Instagram?
Hey.
Wait, are you?
Maybe.
I was just guessing.
Whoa. Cacti. Yep. All right, here we go. Oh, bunnies, lots of them. Oh God, they're everywhere. Hi, bun. Oh, they're everywhere. Hi, buns. I hurt you. Oh my God, they're literally everywhere. Holy shit, hip hopping around. All right, let me switch back to the macro. Take a photo or two of some cactus needles. Why not? Just embrace the cliche of making images in the desert. I don't have lens caps on anything right now because I'm a rebel. Yeah. That's good. I like that a lot. All right, f8 and a 60th. Depth of field preview engaged just to see what I'm getting myself into here. The 135 f4 macro is a great lens for the Pentax 6.7, but it doesn't do 1:1, doesn't get quite as close as you would hope sometimes. The 100 macro, the newest SMC 6.7 lens does with the life-size converter. But a way around this is just adding a couple of extension tubes, so I don't really leave home without a #1 tube. I'm gonna go over here to this next spot, see what we find. I might actually stop that down a little bit more and just have one that's a little underexposed. to have the depth of field. That's the trick with macro and medium format. If you get really close to something, you almost have to be at f22 or 32. And because of that, you'll notice most macro lenses on medium format cameras are some of the only lenses that are gonna go to f32 and super telephoto lenses. Because the longer a lens, the more shallow its depth of field, just like the tighter you get in to a subject, the tighter its depth of field. So to widen it out, you gotta stop the lens down more. So at f11 with this 45 lens, way more depth of field when I engage the depth of field preview lever than when I'm using the 100, 135, or certainly when I'm using my 200 or 400 lenses. What was that? Oh, crap, that's awesome. Coyote.
You got a long boy?
Longest I have is a 135, which is like a 67 on full frame. So, no, I do not have a long boy. This is when I wish I had a 400 and a teleconverter. Such a noob. Oh, there's two of them. Damn, that's cool. Well, all the same, I'll try and change out this roll of film and get closer to them, which is probably a wise decision. Well, I should think that that goes without being said, but no, you should not approach what look to be coyotes hunting for food at home. Ordinarily, I would have a can of bear spray in my bag. I have 2 in my truck right now, but I guess this isn't an ordinary time. So I just switched to my second roll of FP4. I'm gonna try and catch up with these coyotes real quick, and you can catch up with me there.
Finding my own rhythm, playing my own drum, dancing to my own tune, baby, singing my own song. People pay attention, gonna use my voice.
Wish I had the F5 with the 400 and a teleconverter, because to catch these forest puppos at a distance, I need like 800 millimeters, which on this camera would be a 1600 millimeter. Be like carrying a literal cannon around.
Is that the official stance?
When you're macroing, with an extension tube engaged, you can't focus at infinity or usually any further than 5 or 6 feet even, depending on the tube and the magnification of the lens. But I want a picture of these 2 little shrubs, that nice golden light hitting them. But I've got to be able to stop down a bit. I'm gonna do f11 at a 60th and f8 at a 60th as well, just because the light isn't exactly what we want it to be. I'm gonna take 2 pictures of you just to finish this roll. I'm gonna have a really cool light coming across your face. I'm gonna grab the extension tube as well, because I wanna do a really tight shot of the light hitting your eyes. Okay. All right. Chin up, over. Kind of want the hat off. Yeah. Chin over. Up, over, over, over. Stay there. Chin down a little bit. Over more. Stay just like that. Chin down a tiny bit. Hold still for me. I'm gonna take 2 f11 and a 60th. On my 3, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Hold still. 1, 2. Eyes open. 1, 2, 3. All right, I need to take one more of that exact shot, actually. You see how close I can get.
Oh, too much dig.
All right, I need you to stay very still, because actually I need to be at a 60th and f11 to
Had to move.
I noticed.
Did you?
Nah.
Face still good.
Yeah. On my 3.
Not mine.
On mine. 1, 2. Don't move at all. 1, 2, 3. All right. To the truck. To the Batmobile. We're gonna go develop some film. We shot 2 rolls. Thankfully, when we were walking out the door earlier, I remembered I needed to go back in and grab my double tank. I did only have the single tank, which would be insufficient for developing 2 rolls, though that's probably pretty self-explanatory. So I'm gonna give you a few details because I'm gonna be pretty busy here for a few minutes and won't have time to talk. I'm gonna set up my Film Essentials Harrison film changing tent to load the 2 rolls of film onto the reels. We're gonna quickly get chemistry together. I'm gonna check times and temperatures, and we're gonna run through developing real quickly and probably cut a couple of corners, but that will, if nothing else, just test the resilience of film and the latitude of FP4, which is incredibly forgiving, predominantly to overexposure or overdevelopment. And I certainly don't think we'll be under in either department, given the light or the temperature. Decided to quickly wash film here on site for a couple of reasons. 1, I already have all this set up right here, and 2, it seems a little easier. So I am using just some water we bought down the road at the store. I don't like using just like tap water or water from like a hose pipe or anything. Usually something purified or distilled is gonna be, you're not gonna have chances of like hard water buildup and stuff like that on your film. That can cause lots of streaking or chemical marks to be left over, or what look like chemical marks. The other thing, at the very end here in a moment, we will use a little bit of photo flow because that's what you do, so we're going to. You don't always agitate during the wash step, but I'm not letting water run over this for 20 minutes, and I also only have like 2 liters of water left. I'm just cycling the same water through a couple times. Then I'm gonna do 1 clean wash step for 60 seconds, and then I'm gonna use my last clean water with photo flow for the last 60 seconds. That won't be inversion agitation. That'll just be with the funnel off, twisting the reels around by hand. And we're gonna pull the film off the reels and use some Chemtech wipes to start drying the film. There are images, and they actually, whoa, damn, those are contrasty. What the hell happened there? Something strange on that second frame. Oh, that's a shadow. That's my shadow. Idiot. All right, so I just finished developing and attempting to quickly dry these 2 rolls of film. This area is about to close. We're actually gonna go back down the road, kind of back towards the office in an area where I know we can quietly scan some film outdoors. We are still gonna scan on location. We'll show you that behind the scenes and then show you a few results towards the end of this video. All right, so now we're on location to complete the scanning portion of this demo. And the tools that we're using our basic film carrier 120, our 4x5 light source basic 99 CRI, our basic riser Mark I, then I have my Canon EOS 77D with 60mm EFS macro lens, and I am tethering and capturing to my MacBook Pro via Canon EOS Utility, and then we're gonna do our negative conversions with FilmLab Desktop. So I just loaded one of my rolls of Ilford FP4 that we developed earlier. I've got my first frame fed in, and I've just checked the focus by magnifying all the way in live view on the back of the camera. And I am just gonna shift this a little bit to make sure my lines are pretty straight. And yeah, things are looking pretty good there. Cool. So I'm gonna lift the hinge, get that frame lined up. All right, I've got my correct folder selected. The framing looks good, focus looks good. So we're gonna start capturing scans. Frame 1, we just lift the hinge, move on to frame 2, capture. Then you just lift the hinge and keep moving through images. So the 4x5 light source basic that I'm using right now is really more than bright enough for everyday scanning of 35mm, 120, and even 4x5 film. And the 99 CRI version that I'm using right now is not only our most popular light source, but really the best value in our lineup, because it's bright enough, has a really high color rendering index, which is gonna give you super accurate colors and tones. Less important for black and white, but I still just use 99 CRI by default almost all the time anyways. That's 1 roll scanned while I was having a conversation with you pretty quickly. Now I'm gonna take a quick look at these, make sure they look all right. If they do, we'll move to roll 2. So I'm doing some quick conversions in Film Lab Desktop of this first roll, and early results look really good. Nice sharpness, really nice contrast, almost too much contrast, and given the quality of light late in the evening, that really sharp, kind of harsh angles, really bright light, I probably should have been actually doing like an N-1 development and pulling these a little bit because they were so contrasty. Didn't do that, so the results are going to be fairly contrasty when you see them, but they're still really pleasing, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. All right, let's move on to roll 2. I'm going to put my anti-static gloves back on. Not that it matters too much because this film has been developed outdoors, dried outdoors, and has been sitting on the tailgate of my truck for the last hour. All that aside, it's always good to practice best practices, so when you can. Roll 2 is loaded. I'm going to scan through these real quickly, and then we'll process these. All right, that's roll 2 done. Let's process these in Film Lab Desktop and have a quick look at the results. Photos I was trying to take where I was trying to capture that little insect on the run are a little out of focus and a little soft because I was using the 135 macro with the #1 extension tube at almost wide open at a 60th of a second. That is a recipe that would almost always give you poor results, and these aren't awful, but they're about what you'd expect. So a little less than ideal. I'm hoping I've got one good one here. Nah, the bug was moving a little too fast. He's not in focus, or he's a blur. That's all right. A couple other cool ones on this roll though. I love that. All right, now the last 2 are of Diego. This shit is epic. Yeah, these last 2 photos of Diego, it's moments like these are why I shoot film. Like literally, this last frame out of the 2 rolls of film makes all the other pictures far less significant to me because sometimes it's like if you talk to someone who shoots 8x10 film all the time, sometimes they'll spend an entire weekend on a backpacking trip or road trip to make one photograph. That's kind of how I feel about this one I'm looking at here of Diego. It's just like the other 19 photos are cool and there's an experience and a story behind all of them. The expression, not just of Diego, but the expression evoked through the composition, through the quality of light. It's what it needs to be. I'm really happy with this one. So I hope through this video you've been able to see just how easy it is not only to make photographs, but to actually develop your own work and, most importantly in my opinion, scan your own work. We did all this at the roadside in the back of my pickup truck, and it's a lot of fun. It's pretty easy, and it's a nice experiment. It kind of shakes things up for you. So if you've never developed your own film or scanned your own film, I'd strongly encourage you to do so. And then another takeaway is that whether you're at home, on the go, or in the studio, we want you to know that you can use your basic film carrier 120 to scan full-length rolls of 120 film in 60 seconds or less. I didn't time myself here. Maybe we can put a timestamp up to say how long it took to scan each of these rolls, but I'd imagine it was under 60 seconds, even with checking focus and framing and composition from frame to frame. So anyways, it's fast, it's easy, it's affordable, all things that film photographers mostly love. I know that I do. So I just want to thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions about any of these tools or other negative supply tools, questions or comments on the workflow, we'd love to answer them for you. Let us know in the comments, find us on social media, go visit our website and fill out the contact form. And last but not least, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you have plans to shoot some film this week, go out and make the most of it. And we'll see you around soon.